The presence of a toxic biological mother can create a web of complexities within a family dynamic, impacting the emotional well-being of everyone involved. Stepmoms often feel like they are walking on eggshells. Dads are caught in the crossfire of their current and former relationships, and stepchildren are left to navigate a confusing and emotionally charged landscape. This essay will delve into the unique challenges each family member faces and offer practical strategies for navigating this difficult terrain. Remember, you are not alone, and there is hope for a brighter future. Stepmoms often find themselves in the unenviable position of being caught between a rock and a hard place. They are tasked with navigating a relationship with their partner's children, while simultaneously trying to establish their place in a family dynamic already shaped by the biological mother's presence. This delicate balancing act can be emotionally taxing, leading to feelings of resentment, inadequacy, and frustration. One of the biggest challenges stepmoms face is the constant fear of being perceived as the evil stepmother. Dealing with a toxic biomom adds another layer of complexity to the situation. Stepmoms may find themselves on the receiving end of malicious gossip and deliberate attempts to undermine their authority. Building a strong support system, whether it's through therapy, support groups, or trusted friends and family, can provide a much-needed outlet for their frustrations and anxieties. Remember, self-care is not selfish. It's essential for navigating the challenges of being a stepmom, especially in the face of a toxic biomom. Dads often feel like they are walking a tightrope. They are torn between their love for their children and protecting their new partner. This juggling act can leave them exhausted and emotionally drained. One of the biggest challenges is feeling caught in a loyalty bind. Learning to co-parent with a toxic ex is another major challenge. Seeking support from therapists can provide invaluable tools and strategies. Remember, self-care is a necessity for dads navigating these complexities. Stepchildren often bear the brunt of the emotional fallout when a biomom exhibits toxic behavior. They are caught in a web of conflicting loyalties, often feeling pressured to take sides. Toxic behavior can include using children as pawns in conflicts. This manifests as bad-mouthing the other parent or using children to relay hurtful messages. Stepchildren may struggle to express their true feelings. Providing a safe environment is essential for their emotional well-being. Encourage open communication and age-appropriate explanations. Children need love, support, and understanding to navigate these challenges. Section 5. Setting boundaries. Your shield against toxicity. Setting boundaries is crucial when dealing with a toxic biomom. Boundaries act as invisible fences, protecting your emotional well-being and preventing the toxicity from seeping into your everyday life. One of the most important boundaries to set is limiting contact with the toxic biomom. This may involve communicating solely through email or text messages, especially if face-to-face interactions tend to escalate into arguments or emotional outbursts. It's also essential to limit the topics of conversation to matters directly related to the children. Another crucial boundary is refusing to tolerate disrespectful or abusive behavior. Remember, setting boundaries is not about controlling the toxic biomom's behavior. It's about protecting yourself and your family from her toxicity. It's about creating a safe and healthy environment where you and your family can thrive, despite the challenges presented by the toxic biomom. Section 6. Self-care for stepfamilies. Replenishing your emotional reserves. Navigating the challenges of a toxic biomom can be emotionally draining for everyone involved. That's why self-care is not a luxury, it's a necessity. For stepmoms, self-care might involve finding a hobby or activity that brings joy and provides a much-needed escape from the stresses of family life. Dads, too, need to prioritize self-care. This might involve engaging in activities that help them de-stress and unwind, such as going for a run, hitting the gym, or spending time in nature. Stepchildren also benefit from self-care practices. It's also important to encourage open communication and provide a safe space for them to express their feelings without fear of judgment. Remember, children are incredibly resilient, but they need love, support, and understanding to navigate the challenges of a toxic biomom. Section 7. Communication strategies: speaking up and being heard. Effective communication is crucial when dealing with a toxic biomom. However, it's important to remember that communication doesn't always mean engaging in lengthy conversations or trying to reason with someone who is intent on creating conflict. When communication is necessary, such as discussing logistical arrangements for the children, it's important to keep it brief, factual, and devoid of emotional language. Stick to the topic at hand. Avoid engaging in personal attacks or bringing up past grievances, and be prepared to disengage if the conversation becomes heated or unproductive. Another helpful communication strategy is to document everything. Keep a detailed record of all interactions with the toxic biomom, including dates, times, and summaries of conversations. Remember, communication with a toxic biomom is not about winning arguments or changing her behavior. It's about setting clear boundaries, protecting yourself and your family from emotional harm, and focusing on co-parenting in a way that prioritizes the children's best interests. Section 8. A Family's Journey: Sarah, John, and Emily's Story. Sarah, a stepmom to 10-year-old Emily, knows firsthand the challenges of dealing with a toxic biomom. Her husband John's ex-wife, Lisa, constantly badmouthed Sarah to Emily, attempted to sabotage John's weekends with his daughter, and even went as far as to make false accusations about Sarah to Child Protective Services. It was a nightmare, Sarah recalls. John, too, was at his wit's end. He was torn between his love for his daughter and his desire to protect Sarah from Lisa's venom. Emily, meanwhile, was caught in the middle of this toxic battleground. With the help of a therapist specializing in blended families, Sarah, John, and Emily began to develop strategies for dealing with Lisa's toxicity. They established firm boundaries, limited contact to email communication only, and focused on co-parenting in a way that prioritized Emily's well-being. It wasn't easy, Sarah admits. But by setting boundaries, focusing on self-care, and prioritizing Emily's needs, we were finally able to create a more peaceful and loving home environment. Section 9. Building a support system: you are not alone. Building a strong support system is essential when navigating the challenges of a toxic biomom. Surrounding yourself with people who understand your struggles, offer encouragement, and provide a listening ear can make all the difference in your ability to cope with the stress and emotional turmoil that often accompanies this type of situation. Support can come from various sources. It might be your partner, a close friend, a family member, a therapist, or a support group for step families or individuals dealing with toxic relationships. The important thing is to identify individuals or groups that make you feel safe, understood, and supported. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. By building a strong support system, you are equipping yourself with the resources you need to navigate the challenges of a toxic biomom and create a healthier and happier life for yourself and your family. Section 10. Finding your strength: moving forward with hope. Dealing with a toxic biomom can be an incredibly challenging and emotionally draining experience. It's easy to feel overwhelmed, discouraged, and even hopeless at times. However, it's important to remember that you are not alone and that there is hope for a brighter future. One of the most empowering things you can do is to shift your focus from things you can't control, such as the toxic biomom's behavior, to things you can control, such as your own reactions, your self-care, and the environment you create for yourself and your family. By focusing on what you can control, you empower yourself to make positive changes in your life, despite the challenges you face. Every step you take towards healing, every boundary you set, every self-care practice you implement is a victory. So keep moving forward, one step at a time, and never lose sight of the hope that burns within you. Section 11, You Are Not Alone. Sharing your story, finding support. Sharing your story can be an incredibly powerful tool for healing and connecting with others who understand your struggles. By sharing your experiences, you not only release the burden of carrying your pain in silence, but you also open the door for others to do the same. There are many ways to share your story. You can choose to confide in a trusted friend or family member, join a support group for stepmoms or individuals dealing with toxic relationships, or even share your experiences anonymously online. The important thing is to find an outlet that feels safe and comfortable for you. By sharing your story, you not only help yourself, but you also inspire others to find their voice and seek support. So take a deep breath, find your voice, and share your story. You never know who might need to hear it.